Okay, g'day and welcome to basically the Japanese cars that we would buy that we think are the picks in a bunch of different categories.
Yeah, the ones we like, and we've also tried to use some facts and statistics to help us make our decision.
And look, there's no Academy Awards for best or worst cars as such, so these are our picks, but they're not necessarily the absolute, these are the absolute best out there, because that's a pretty subjective opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
Shall we get into this?
Let's do it. So we'll start with small car. There's a lot in this category. This might seem a bit predictable, but I think it's reasonable. Honda Jazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good all round, and Toyota Yaris.
I've gone also Honda Jazz, specifically, second generation 1.5 litre manual. You know why? Because I used to own one.
It was a good car.
Cracking car.
The only thing you had to do to that was put a clutch in it.
Yeah.
And a thermo fan.
Yes.
But other than that, super reliable.
Amazing. Yeah. Also, practicality-wise, no other small car in this class can match a Jazz for how much stuff you can get.
They're weirdly cavernous.
It's amazing.
In the back of them.
It's so good for practicality. You look at larger cars going, why is this less practical than the mighty little Jazz? What was the other one?
Yaris.
Yaris.
Which is, you know, the 2NZ motor in them. They're solid, they're super reliable. Virtually nothing ever goes wrong, and if it does, it's super cheap to fix. And they're practical, and they don't look too bad, really, in that category. Yeah.
It's surprising when you look at different mechanic workshops, especially around Australia, the car that so many mechanic workshops use as the courtesy car for their customers inherently are Yaris.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of them, yeah.
I've got another couple here. I'll get your opinion.
Yeah.
Mazda 2. 1.5 litre. I think they look great. I think they drive really, really well. They're super enjoyable to drive, super reliable, really well equipped.
Yeah, all of that is true. Super valid choice. Certainly not on the bottom of the list in this category. Just not on my top two, but yeah, 100% good choice. Yep.
My personal pick, which is not necessarily a car I think many people should buy, because it's an import, and imports are great if you're happy to sign up to, you know, a little bit more of a commitment relationship-wise. Suzuki Alto Works. This is basically I think the best modern incarnation of the original Mini Cooper S. Yeah. We filmed one, we had it for a review from the awesome guys at Go Garage. What an epic car. Yeah. I love that car.
Yeah. Wonder why they're not more popular though.
I think it's just the import thing, honestly. I think a lot of people don't know about it. Even when I had it, I had people asking, what the hell is this thing? And also, there's another one I drove after we filmed the one we shot that had some really smart modifications. Properly quick.
Yeah.
Like quick thing.
Yeah. Quick enough.
Yeah. It almost quick enough to go into the performance car category, which we'll get to in a second. Yep. Okay, next up, small SUVs. Me or you?
You go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave my favourite till last. Gen 1 and Gen 2 Toyota RAV4 3-door. Yeah. I think super cool. I think they're coming into their own as far as image goes. That's not important. We should just be talking about reliability. Yeah. But a really good thing.
Good thing. But we should also point out the 06 to 13 area when they had the 2AZ FE.
Was it 2.4?
2.4. Yep. A lot of oil burners in there. Some did, some didn't. But that is probably the only downside with that car. Overall, super reliable.
It's annoying because I think the 2.4 is so tempting. Bit of extra power in that little body shell. But you just got to be aware of that 2.4 oil consumption
Well,
stuff.
fun fact, there's a V6 version right there, which was the one on our channel.
Oh, is that the one?
That's the one on our channel.
Wow.
It has a gearbox issue.
No.
We've got to do torque converter clutch solenoids in it. Okay. Hard to get parts for.
Really?
Yeah, and not cheap, but yeah.
So should I retract my pick of...
well, that's a V6.
Okay.
But same gearbox, but still, there's still a solid choice. I mean, in that category, I've got RAV4 as well.
Yep.
But even the later model hybrids as well.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we talked about this earlier. The categories here are a bit blurred. Some small SUVs might be in the medium SUV class and they cross over a bit, so cut us some slack here because it's hard to define the sizes these days.
RAV4 is a perfect example. Like the Gen 1 and Gen 2 RAV4, that is a small SUV. It was a small SUV. But now you look at the size of it, it's about the same size as the original Kluger, and you've got the Yaris Cross and the Corolla Cross, which are smaller than it. So now it's technically a medium SUV. But if you go by the categorization from a few years ago, technically it's a large SUV at the moment.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be talking small, medium, large cars, SUVs, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. but it is going to be a little blurry
Yeah.
because we're talking multiple different generations.
But you get the gist of it.
You'll get it. I've also got the mighty Honda HR-V, but the first generation. So we're talking like 1999, 2000.
Yep.
They're so good that we've actually bought one for ReDriven.
Yeah. That is a very small SUV.
That is a very small
compared to a
SUV.
RAV, they're tiny.
It's small.
They should have a new category they call them micro SUVs.
Well, it is noticeably smaller than a Yaris Cross.
Yeah.
But I think simple little nugget of a car.
Yeah.
They're so cheap. We paid like $22.50 for ours. Granted, 344,000 Ks, 25 years old. No,
They
real
have
safety.
some age-related reliability issues, but overall, solid.
And it's a great looking car. We've got some massive plans for our HR-V. That's going to
yeah.
be a cool thing.
Monster truck conversion.
Suzuki Jimny. I know you probably shouldn't buy a Suzuki Jimny because they're overpriced. They are, I think, I hate to say this, they're overrated, but I just don't care. I love the Jimny.
And the four-door ones are, put it in that category.
Yeah.
But when you look at that compared to a RAV, they're not in the same category.
No,
so,
it's tiny.
but you get as I said, you get the gist of it. Good car though.
I think the Jimny is really good. Great reliability, excellent support network. It doesn't make sense on so many levels, which is I think why it's one of our picks because it's great.
What's the NCAT?
Let's ignore that. Let's ignore that. You know what my top pick is?
What?
This is like a manufacturer went, you know that Adam guy from ReDriven? Let's make him his perfect small SUV. So basically, take the running gear out of a GR Corolla or a GR Yaris, but with the automatic, and then stick the sexy as hell, very sophisticated and classy Lexus LBX body over the top, and you end up with a LBX Maurizio RR.
Yeah.
Maurizio?
Look it up. Google
Maurizio?
it. They're very cool.
Not here yet. It's not in the country yet.
Yeah.
And Lexus, if you're listening to this, please, can I just have one? Like, I can't afford to buy one, but can I have one? That
very
thing,
cool. Yeah.
oh my God, that is the best small SUV in the world. I reckon it's one of the best cars in the world.
Could be.
That is it's your GR Yaris with an auto, so it's easy for around town. It's small, luxurious, packed with gear.
Very cool car.
Great car. I don't even have to talk about reliability because it's a GR Yaris.
It'll be fine.
It's going to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
Let's move up into medium-ish car segment. I've got some interesting ones here.
Again, forgive us for blurring the boundaries here. Medium car, did you say?
I think we go medium cars.
Yeah, okay.
So we're kind of talking... I think in my brain, I try to categorise things in sizing according to Mazda. So a Mazda 2 is small, a Mazda 3 is medium, and a Mazda 6 is large. Yeah. Even though a Mazda 6 technically isn't a large car versus like a...
So you're like the American system. I go with the metric version, which is all the Toyotas.
Okay.
So it's a totally different system.
Right.
But anyway, we'll work it out. Well, I'll go first with my first one. I've got Accord Euro.
I have an Accord Euro as well. Or in the US, it's the Acura TSX.
Also a good car.
The same thing.
Yeah.
I think these are massively underrated.
Yeah, they are. And they're the ones that are still on the road are super reliable.
Yeah. K24.
They go forever. They're getting a few oil leak issues. And because they're cheap, they're a little bit neglected, the ones we see.
Yeah.
But they still keep on trucking.
I really want to try out, and we actually have the option to film this as the Type R version, Accord Euro R, which is K24, but all the Type R fruit. We've got to get around to doing that. But that thing, really... I've never driven one, but amazing. Yeah. Also, the wagon. Like, we never got the wagon here.
What a shame.
Yeah. It's funny because I love a fast wagon. I just love wagons in general. It's an interesting looking wagon. It feels like an afterthought. I feel like they designed the car, they made that look absolutely stunning, and then they went, oh, hang on, we have to make a wagon.
It's a bit like the Lexus IS200 wagon.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an afterthought
slightly
not as cool as it could be. Yeah.
Or is it just that we're used to the sedan, so when you see the wagon version, you're like, oh, that's confronting.
Yeah. The other one on my list is Mazda 6, but absolutely no diesels.
No.
None of the diesels from the history of time, because we all know Mazda hasn't made a reliable diesel in a car since ever. Absolutely avoid all the diesels, and we'll get to that in our worst medium-sized car. But the petrol one's totally fine.
Yeah, I was going to say we are doing the opposite of this list. We are doing the Japanese cars that we would avoid at all costs.
I just had a thought in the medium-sized car, and I just mentioned it. I forgot IS200.
Okay.
That's a medium-sized car.
That's medium. Yeah, 100% medium.
Yeah, I'll throw that in last minute.
Yep, awesome. What about all of the Lexus IS 250? 350 F
Well,
Sport?
the 250s, I'm talking about the old IS200
Okay.
and IS300 with the 2J in it.
Sure.
Well, that's smaller than the later model IS250.
Exactly.
So what category? But it's still
hard.
But yeah.
I've got a couple of wild cards that I think are definitely worth a look.
Right, hit me.
One is the Suzuki Kazashi. I know we have a concern that because they were not popular, there's less of a support network out there. So if you are in the market, just be aware that getting parts could be a challenge.
Could be a thing.
And they are at the age where they probably are going to need parts now and again.
Yeah. And be prepared if you have one and you're in an accident, even if it's minor, they will write it off.
Really?
Because
Write it off?
write it off? What did I say?
Write it off.
They'll write it off.
It's written off. Isn't it written off?
They will write it off.
Oh, they will write. Sorry.
Then it'll be written
I
off.
thought you said they were write it off. Like, that's English not good. Written off. Okay. They will write it off.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You get the gist
You're
of
on
it.
my bad side. That's the ear that
All
doesn't
you
work.
hear is the whistling and the humming and the voices.
Yep.
What were we saying?
Kazashi.
Yeah, insurance company will write it off if you're in an accident
Okay.
because they won't be able to get parts for it.
That's a really good point. Maybe we
Expensive.
shouldn't have that on the list. No, I'm going to leave it on the list.
Wasn't there a CVT version of those as well?
Yeah, but you got to get the 6-speed manual and the
Yeah.
front-wheel drive because the all-drive
All-wheel
weighs a
drive?
ton.
Yeah.
It's a classic example of. I think a lot of performance car people go, oh, it's got to be the all-wheel drive. No, not necessarily. I think the front-wheel drive versions of certain cars are actually the more enjoyable car to drive because it's so much lighter.
Yeah, and in Australia, it wasn't particularly, good sales thing for Suzuki. And I reckon over the years, I've probably only seen, half a dozen in the workshop.
Cool-looking thing.
Yeah.
But my pick in this, but it comes with a warning, is actually the Toyota Ruckus, which is also the Corolla Rumion and the Scion XB. Reason being, it's a 2.4 litre RAV4 engine on a Corolla platform and a boxy design.
Is it a Corolla platform or Camry platform?
No, I think it's a Corolla platform.
Yeah. There's probably not much difference anyway, but good car, ugly.
Okay, it is ugly in standard form.
Yeah.
You put it, if you lower it with a really good set of aftermarket wheels, or give it a little lift with some all-terrains, can be a cool-looking thing. Yeah. But in standard form, pretty ugly. Yeah. But practicality is massive.
Is it the same size as a Nissan Cube?
No, way bigger.
Is it bigger?
It's bigger.
Yeah,
it's noticeably bigger than a Cube.
Yeah, I'd like to compare them.
Yeah.
Because to look at from a distance, they kind of look the same. But I think right.
The only warning, it is the 2.4. So oil.
Again, oil burner.
Yeah, you can have a bit of an appetite for oil. But I think if well maintained, cracking thing. And we've got to get one on the channel. Yeah. We've had a couple of offers, but a Ruckus, I think it's up there with one of the most underrated cars.
In Australia, were they grey import only?
No, that was an Aussie delivered car.
Yeah. Not many of them around.
No, I think because of looks.
Yeah. But I think that's why I thought they might have been a grey import because there's so few of them on the road.
No, they were definitely available. If you want to have some inspiration of how good they can look with some mods, don't Google Toyota Ruckus. Google Corolla Rumion JDM tuned, and you'll be presented with a minefield of fabulous
cool JDM
Rucki. It's time for another Wipertech challenge. Will it wipe today's victim? Chocolate topping. Now, before we see how these wipe, remember Wipertech wiper blades are so easy to order online. Fitting them is super simple. And if you order a set via the link, you're going to get 15% off and free express shipping. Let's see how they go. Gross. Go for it. Ugh. Okay. These things absolutely nailed that, so they're easily going to handle anything that you can throw at them. Get yourself a set today. Let's move up a category into medium SUVs.
Yeah, okay. You want to go first?
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
They're pretty much the same car.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. Lexus NX or RX, any generation. Yeah. My personal pick is whatever the F Sport variant is in hybrid form.
Yeah.
And also Toyota RAV4 hybrid, which is basically the same thing underneath, depending on the generation, obviously. Yeah. I reckon I'll go as far as saying we reviewed a Lexus NX hybrid. I had that car for a little while. I cannot think of any other car I've driven that does car as wonderfully well as that. Yeah. Unbelievably reliable. Yeah. In hybrid form, it's super fuel efficient, ultra safe, great practicality, fit and finish, easily the class leader in that. I know the NX is a little bit smaller than a Mercedes-Benz GLC, but if you go GLC interior and then Lexus NX interior, it makes the Merc look like a joke. Yeah. That car, really enjoyable to drive. I think it's
Yeah.
Anytime someone says, "Yeah, what's the best car you've ever driven?" I always say, if we're talking car, affordable, great resale value,
As a
hybrid.
daily all-rounder.
as just car,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not performance car.
Even though technically it's not a car.
No,
it's an
not a car.
SUV. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but what I went into that going, this will be a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
Came out of it going, oh my god,
Yeah.
what a phenomenal bit of gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my medium SUV, I've gone up a slight size, and I've gone Toyota Kluger, although they might be considered a large SUV in some markets, but a medium SUV. Like the first gen is definitely medium size, but I would avoid the first gen because they had the 3MZ engine. Not a great Toyota motor, timing belt, high maintenance, they piss out oil.
Fuel consumption.
Fuel consumption is terrible. But the Gen 2, it's a great car.
Yeah.
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 Two-wheel drive, probably not so good as an all-rounder. The all-wheel drive one, not too bad on fuel, but such a solid, reliable platform.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Absolutely bulletproof.
Yeah.
For the families out there, if you need a 7-seat
Yeah.
SUV, that's why for me it's like a large. But
Yeah,
I'll
I
still
totally get it. Well, I've also in the same category, although it is definitely smaller, I've got CX-5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, CX-5 is a cracker.
again,
I didn't have CX-5.
because our categories are blurry. But again, I will say with the CX-5, do not get a diesel
Yeah.
at all.
We'll dive into that far more in the Japanese cars you shouldn't go near.
I mean, the petrols aren't perfect. They have a few issues. High pressure fuel pumps, for example, is a pretty common problem. But overall, the car itself is super reliable.
Also, CX-5 by far the most enjoyable to drive of really, I think, any car in that category. If you're into driving, the Lexus NX is for me the luxury pick, and it's just beautiful. But the CX-5, it's just a bit more engaging and involving.
100%,
I still think a RAV4 hybrid is all the car 90% of the population would ever need.
I agree.
It just does everything right.
Yeah.
Fantastic car. Let's go to large cars.
Yeah, large car.
Large car.
Yeah, okay. I think our list is probably going to be the same.
Pretty similar.
I've got LS400 is one of my starters.
What a thing.
Or 430.
Yep.
Both, big. That's a big unit though.
I've got Lexus GS.
Yeah, well, same.
Slightly smaller.
Any one of the GS models, good thing.
I had a guy message us this morning regarding he was looking at maybe getting a Commodore as his first car, the SV6, like a VE, I think he was looking at, and I said, go look at the first gen Lexus GS. Like nothing against the Commodore, but that Lexus GS, and you can get the first gen ones pretty cheap.
Yeah,
they're a cracking thing, and obviously the LS. That's up there with some of the best cars in the world.
Yeah, LS. Lexus, not LS Commodore.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Toyota Crown. Now, this comes with a warning because it is an import.
Yeah.
But if you go see somebody like Justin at Colton Classic or the boys at Go Garage, there is support there for parts and all those sorts of things. But again, being an import, you've just got to be aware, especially with body panels. If someone backs into you, your insurance company will have to go hunting for the parts, but it will take time, and that's a bit of a commitment. But I still think the Crown, that should be the highest selling car in Australia.
I agree.
And it doesn't matter what generation, they're all fantastic.
Yeah, great car. I've also got Toyota Orion, which is a Camry.
Yep.
Camry as well. Orion is a bit more, I think, it's, bigger engine makes it for an all-round better car.
Yep.
More fuel, obviously. But yeah, great car. Super reliable.
I think the top pick, but Mazda 6 wagon, because wagons are cooler, 2012 to current.
Yep.
Again, avoid the diesel.
Yeah, petrol.
Do not go near the diesel. They're utter shit. But I think these are criminally underrated cars. They are so lovely to drive.
And they look good too. They're a good looking car.
Fit and finish is great. Great amount of equipment on it. I really think it's the most underrated car on the market. Mazda 6 wagon. Also, maybe lowered slightly with some CX
they make
9 wheels.
Yeah, that would look good. Why didn't they make a Orion or Camry wagon? I know they used to back in the day.
SUVs.
Yeah, but I just feel... I think they would have been cool.
It would have been cool. I just think the investment it takes to make a wagon, like with safety gear and MVH levels and all the amount of research and engineering it takes to make a car, I just think you're going to sell more SUVs.
Which is weird because you look at how many the Mazda 6 wagons there are.
Yeah.
I'm even going to say there's more wagons on the road than not wagons.
Well, I thought
would be my gut feeling there.
I thought that, but when we did the research for the video, it's dramatically more sedans.
Is it?
Really? Yeah. It's like
maybe I just don't notice the sedans.
If you jump on any of the online carb sale platform things, and separate it between the body types, way more sedans, way more. And it's a shame because an Orion wagon. Oh, but yeah.
would be pretty cool.
Wagon in any car is the cooler option. Wagons are just cool. It's not even. It's not a subjective thing. Objectively, they've proven that wagons are the coolest cars in the world.
Yeah. If you're looking to buy any of these cars on this list, and if you're looking for finance, click the Driver link below.
Yeah, Driver will source you the very best finance package from loads of different lenders. Applying online is so easy to do, really fast and completely free. And doing so is going to have no impact on your credit score. Large SUVs / four-wheel drives.
Yeah.
So we're talking kind of, 7-seaters.
It's another blurry category.
It is.
I've got one here that probably shouldn't be in the category, but I've actually, should I kick off? I've
You
got
go.
Y62 Patrol. I know it's a big four-wheel drive, big SUV.
That's large SUV.
Y62 Patrol, I think it's a really cool car. I prefer that to others in the category. I think it's a good thing.
Yep, I think I heard pitchforks out the front just then.
Yes,
Was that
they're
noise?
coming for us.
There seems to be flames outside. No, I agree. I think I was really surprised, even from a cost of ownership point of view.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's a V8 petrol,
Yeah.
but when you take into account, so obviously its main competitor is 200 series Land Cruiser, or even 300 series Land Cruiser. But when you take into account the extra that the Toyotas charge over the Nissan, the price difference there, you will get thousands of kilometres of range out of your Patrol than you will buying the Land Cruiser. And I agree. I think it's a more enjoyable thing to drive. Yeah. It's a V8, so it just sounds good. With a few mods, it can do pretty much anything you want. Anyone out there that's going, oh, they're shit off road, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And also, if it's shit off road, maybe don't try to attempt things with the car that it was never designed to do in the first place.
Yeah, and the those of you after us with, torches and pitchforks, I do also have Toyota Prado on my, large four-wheel drive SUV that I would buy. I don't have 200 series. We'll talk about that later. But the Prado is also there. It's a great all-rounder. Yep.
I've got a spin on the Prado. I think the new Lexus GX. Saw one on the road the other day.
Yeah, they look good.
Oh.
I think that grille, which a lot of people are flaming, I think it looks good.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I'm super keen to see the J250 Prado in the metal. Because like the Lexus looks amazing.
Yeah,
so the Prado's going to look great.
Yeah.
I'd just go the Lexus because I think the 6-cylinder over the 4-cylinder, I just think I think it's worth the extra cash.
Agreed.
I've got FJ Cruiser, which I know people don't like, but they're wrong.
So wrong.
Such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Practicality is not great. You don't want to be in that back seat, especially if you need to get out in a hurry.
But let's face it, they've got 3 wipers.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. FJ Cruiser, unbelievably cool.
I reckon they're cool. I rate them.
Thoughts on, Subaru Outback. So 5th generation, but then you've got to be careful of the CVT issues. But the 3rd generation with the 6-cylinder engine.
Yeah, I think that's the one to get. If you're going to have Outback on your list, I think that is the one to get.
Okay.
It's certainly not my favourite,
Yeah.
but it's certainly not on the list, if you know what I mean. They're okay.
I think I rate the Outback. I've always, every time I've driven one, I've got friends with them, and as long as they're maintained, I think a good thing.
The 6-cylinder one's okay.
Okay, I'm breaking the rules here. This is my personal pick, and it's not technically. It is large. I'm just going to say it.
Go on.
Pajero Evo.
Yeah.
I know it's a
That's
3-door,
cool.
but it's big.
It's big.
What a cool car.
It's technically somewhat collectible, though.
That's so high on my list of I want one of those.
Yeah.
But off that, any Mitsubishi Pajero, not the Sport, not the Challenger, they're great. Don't get me wrong, super underrated. But any generation Pajero, but especially 2020, 2021 models, especially in the Exceed top spec, this is a car that's the end of basically a 30 or 40 year evolution of that model of car. They've sorted all the issues out. That is, I would have that over a Y62 Patrol or a 200 series, maybe even a 300 series. I think they're fantastic. It drives great, super reliable, amazing support network. The owners groups, up there with some of the best.
Yeah.
There's no pretense. There's no, unfortunately, with some of the Land Cruiser owners groups and the Patrol owners groups, which are generally speaking really, really good. But there are the owners out there that are like, just like, you can't criticise the car.
Exactly right.
But the Pajero owners group just tended to be so much more inclusive.
I think it's a really intelligent choice. When you look at the landscape of all the spectrum between the Y62 Patrol and the smaller ones in the category, I think the Pajero is probably could be the sweet spot.
I think it's a cracking good thing.
Yeah.
In the Exceed trim spec 2020, 2021, even if it's got, say, 60,000 Ks, 70,000 Ks, that's the one to get. And you're saving so much money over the more predictable ones.
Agreed.
Oh my God, here's a big category. performance cars.
Yeah.
God, there is
Performance cars.
so many to choose from here.
All right, you go first.
I struggled
look
to
at your
I struggled to not list
You've got
400
way more on
different
your
cars.
list. You've got a long list. Okay, start. You go.
Where do I even start? Okay, I'm going to go. I used to own one of these, and I should never have sold it. But the Honda Integra DC2 Type R.
Why did you sell that?
Oh, I thought you were criticising.
No, good car. You should have kept it.
I should have kept it. Justin at Colton Classic has a very similar one, Championship White.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Did yours have the red Recaros?
No, mine was the super limited one that had the black ones.
Yeah,
it was like one of 6 road cars ever made. If you want to know more about that story, we might do something on the socials. Because
you should look it up, see who has it now, and buy it back for
I
5 times the amount you sold it for.
I have on good authority, because I think I sold it for 30 something, and then I've got on good authority it sold not that long ago for, I think it was in the 50s.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a special car. Yeah. Evo 9 wagon.
Oh, good choice.
Thank you.
Excellent choice.
Fast wagon, nothing cooler, and what a cracking thing. I've never actually driven the wagon, and I would love to have that.
Well, you've driven an Evo 9, right? So I'm assuming it's everything an Evo 9 is, but wagon. So everything's enhanced and better.
Such a cool thing. I don't like them when they've been overly modified. I think when they're over the top, it's like you just
set of wheels, just drop it maybe 20 mil.
Yeah, just be tasty with it.
Yeah.
Just hint, subtle hint at hey, this is special.
Yeah, because if you try to make it, if you modify it too much, you're sort of detracting away from the wagon coolness. I think, like if you want to modify and go fast, do a sedan. Yeah, but a wagon, just keep it a little bit. Keep it street.
Yeah, a bit under the radar. Yeah. Mazda MX-5 goes without saying. It doesn't matter which generation, as long as it's a manual.
Yeah, good choice.
NA, very cool. Bit expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
NB, arguably the sweet spot because it's all the great bits of the NA, but it's a lot cheaper. NC, I think, is super underrated, and ND is up there with some of the best cars I've ever driven.
I've got that on my list as well, actually. So
MX-5's great. Yeah. Your car, GR Yaris.
GR Yaris, obviously that is on my list.
Hiding up the back. I don't know if you can see it in the shot, but it's under a tarp at the moment.
Soon to be for sale.
Really?
Possibly. Yeah, breaking news.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, well.
No.
Yeah, we'll talk later. And I've also got stick to the script.
I'm just in shock. Okay, right.
And the GR Corolla goes without saying.
Yep, absolutely.
Should we? What else you got? What have you got on your list that's a normal car? Before we go,
before we go crazy. Stuff. Okay. Well, the one that I hope this. How do I even put this? So I look at cars like I love 90s and early 2000s rally cars, right? So like Lancia Delta Integrale, amazing, but $200,000. Yeah. Any 2-door STI Subaru, $150,000. Mackinnon Evos, $100,000.
Yep.
The most successful car in that category, and it has genuine homologation, chops and cred, and it also has Carlos Sainz's name attached to it, is the Toyota Celica GT4 Group A Carlos Sainz edition in the ST185 body shell. Yep. You can get a really good one of those for like 40 to 50 grand. That, I think, I would do terrible things to get one of those and put the OZ either of the OZ wheels on the kind of
the rally
flat looking rally ones, or the 5 spokes. Yep. That with some really schmick suspension, maybe the single piece Recaros, do the interior up nicely, refresh the engine.
Very, very cool
that car that is. Yeah. Also, it's a coupe, so it's in a wide body. You got arches, you got that bonnet.
Are they too valuable now? Because I used to see that model Celica all the time on the road.
The
Are they all locked away in sheds now? Not being driven.
But even when you see a good one pop up, it's like $45,000. So it's half the price of anything else in that realm. Yet it was the most successful. It's got a Sainz name on it.
Just on a bit of a side note, Ryan Turk is doing a build of one of those, full on rally car spec. Wow. He's putting a GT16 GR Yaris motor in it.
No way.
Yeah, way.
Is it the S185 with the pop-up headlights, or is it the round headlight one? I've seen his round headlight one.
It's the
205. ST205.
I'm not sure. I think it's not. I don't think it's the pop-up one.
Okay, that's the one after.
I think it's the one after.
That was the one that got banned.
Yeah. Oh yeah, turbo rule. Yeah.
No, I think the
the one you're talking about. I get it. Yeah,
oh my god, that is I think that's an amazing car.
Very cool.
Shall we do the crazy stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're talking, but you know what? The thing is, one of my crazy cars isn't actually that crazy.
No. Well, I've got 3 on my crazy car / performance / collectible list. Can I meld this group all in together?
I love that.
I've got the LFA, the Lexus LFA. It's such a, I don't know, it's such a bloody predictable Japanese car. It's almost a bit cliched now because I thought they were cool before everyone else thought they were cool, by the way.
That is a special thing.
Yeah, long ago. Just a cool car. I don't know what else I can say about it. Just very cool.
Have you seen one in the metal or in the carbon?
Yeah, I have, but not close up. I've never sat in one. But just as an iconic Japanese car, obviously, they're very cool.
I saw my first one actually not that long ago. It was only a few weeks ago. I'm not at liberty to say how. Didn't get to sit in it, but was very close up for a long time. And you don't until you see one. Because I'm like, oh yeah, really cool, really, yeah. I dig it. And then I saw one, and it had an impact on me. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my.
And even it has so much presence. There's something incredibly special visually about that car that I wasn't expecting to feel. Like if you see a Ferrari F12, it's like, oh my god, that's stunning. What a beautiful car. But it's almost a bit predictable. But the LFA, there's something going on there.
Yeah, I agree.
That is incredibly special, and that is so high on my list. If I had $1 million spare and had to buy a car, that V10, I wish I could have heard it. Like just looking at it was amazing, let alone driving it.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, I've got the old school. I've gone old school with both of my 2 remaining picks. I've got the Toyota 2000 GT.
Beautiful.
Because beautiful car.
Stunning.
Just beautiful. Not that fast, really, but it's old.
Doesn't matter.
But just a beautiful old Toyota. And the other one I got is and sorry about the pronunciation, the Hakusuka Skyline.
You know what? That is Sam, who's our illustrious offsider with ReDriven, the genius behind the camera. That's his pick.
Yeah.
That's his...
Yeah. And again, you know, by modern car standards, not that fast, but just so much character and so much soul and so much history, and they just look cool. They're a cool looking car.
Yes.
It just ticks all the boxes for me.
Yep.
Yep.
I've got obviously the LFA. Any viewers of the channel will not be surprised by this. Honda NSX Type R, the original. I think I prefer the 3 litre over the 3.2, the early one with the little pop-up headlights over the later one.
Yeah. Either would do.
Championship white, please. That thing's amazing.
Yeah.
I also have, this is the more realistic one, the Lexus LC 500.
What a hot looking car.
I saw one of these the other day it's the updated one, and it was this like the kind of titanium silver colour.
Yeah.
And the day before I actually saw a Ferrari F12.
Yep.
And I just thought, what do you, like, the Lexus is like visually as incredible and jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
And it's, what, an eighth the price, whatever it is.
What would you say to the haters that say, oh, Lexus, just an overpriced Toyota and they're boring? Which, let's be honest, a lot of people say that.
And some of them are.
Yeah, obviously. But that car...
Oh, that thing's amazing.
That car is not an overpriced Toyota, and it is not boring.
5-litre V8, naturally aspirated, rear-wheel drive, and it looks like that.
Yep.
Oh, my God, what a stunning bit of gear. And I also have the ProDrive P25, which for those that don't know, I'm sure Cal's putting up pictures now. It's basically a Subaru WRX 22B, but in a resto mod WRC style, built by the guys that built the World Rally cars. I'm not big on the wheels. I would have the Speedline wheels that I had on my WRX on it. But yeah, like as far as a resto mod guy goes, and please go watch Henry Catchpole's video on that car, because it is a special bit
I was
of
quite
gear.
surprised by the asking price of those.
It's a lot.
It's quite a lot.
600 grand or something crazy.
Typical resto mod pricing though. They're all ridiculously expensive.
It's built by ProDrive, so it's going to be the best of everything.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. But that's pretty
very special car.
I think that's it. I think that's. Let us know if there's anything we've forgotten or if there's any surprises in there.
There's bound to be ones we've missed, and when we read the comments, we go, I can't believe we didn't think of that. So put them in the list.
I nearly forgot CX-5 and medium SUVs. How did I forget that?
Well, it's a pretty forgettable car.
So when we did the European one, I forgot Skoda Octavia. I forgot that. What's going on with the Skoda? Is it broken?
It is very broken.
Oh, no.
It is so broken. It's only got 150,000 Ks on it. It is as broken as you can get.
What a surprise.
Probably can't divulge too much. It's not my car, really. It's a customer's car, but it's so unhappy.
And they've also, they did buy the best colour.
They did. Yeah.
Anyway, if you wanted to go and check out the European cars that we would avoid at all costs and the ones that we would buy, even though that one's broken, there's links down below. And also, if you want to see the worst Japanese cars, the ones that we would avoid at all costs, I'm assuming there's a link down below, depending on when these come out. I'm not really sure.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you soon.